Hello students and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to see about can the matters change their states? Yes, they can change their states. So today we are learning about how the matters can change their states. Earlier we have seen that there are three states of matters, right? Generally, that is solid, liquid and gas. Then how solid can change into a liquid, liquid can change into a gas, that changes, or gas can be a liquid or liquid can become a solid. How these states will be interchanged, today we are going to discuss on the same point, right? See here, change of state, right? In this, whenever a solid is heated, means we are providing heat, energy to the solid, then it changes into a liquid. Means whenever the solid particles accept the heat or gets the energy, then their molecules get separate from each other, gets energetic and start to move more and move apart from each other, right? And this is why the solid can become liquid after heating or after providing heat. So when the solid is heated, it changes into a liquid. And the same, when the liquid is heated, means once again we are providing energy, heat to the liquid molecules, then again they are become more and more movable, motile and move apart from each other, right? And that's why they convert into a gas. Means what? As they will get the heat, solid molecules if they get the heat, they becomes liquid. Liquid molecules if they get the heat, they will becomes into a gas. And same here, if we take out the heat from them, then they will come back to their respective states. See here, when the gases is cooled, cooled means we are taking out the heat from that molecules, right? So whatever the highly energetic molecules moving very fast, they will come close to each other and move very little, means gas is cooled and change into a liquid state. And the same, when the liquid is cooled, again we will take out the energy, then the liquid again come close molecules and little bit vibrate, that is nothing but a solid. So when the solid is heated, it will change into a liquid. When liquid is heated, change into a gas. When gas is cooled, it changes to a liquid, and when the liquid is cooled, it change into a solid. Take an example. You know that solid state of water, that is ice. Whenever ice is heated, it changes to a water, and if water is heated, it changes into a steam, right? If steam is cooled, means we will take out the energy, then again it converts into a water, and if water is cooled, it changes again into a ice. This is what it is given, the change in states. Solid state, heat, liquid state, heat converts into a gaseous state. Gaseous state, whenever it is cooled, becomes a liquid state. Liquid state once again get cooled, then it will convert into a solid. Same it is given with the help of a picture. This is the ice, solid state, right? Whenever heat is provided, this will melt and becomes water. Whenever the water is again provided with a heat, this water get vaporized and converts into a steam. So this is what the arrangement of the molecules is given. So this change in the arrangement of the molecule is just because of the temperature. So this is very important point with respect to a temperature, how the states can change their, how the states of the matter is changed, right? So this is what the change of states of matter of solid, liquid and gases. More we will see with the textbook, but before that see once again here the detailed picture of the change of the state, solid into liquid, liquid into gas. Here you can see whenever this is a beaker and in that ice cubes are taken, right? And you know that it is converted, water is converted into ice at a 0 degree centigrade, right? So whenever we will start to heat the ice, then slowly by accepting the heat, the ice will start to melt, right? And at a particular temperature. In that, if you will see clearly here, the temperature is showing 0 degree centigrade. Here, whatever the energy we are providing or heat we are providing, at that temperature, ice start to melt, right? Until the whole ice will not get melted, till that time they will just absorb the heat without rising temperature, right? So this is what it is called as a latent heat, which is stored in the water. Same it is there for liquid also. Whenever the liquid we are providing heat at a one particular temperature, this liquid will start to convert into a gaseous state. Actually, that is called as a boiling or boiling point of that liquid. The boiling is a bulk phenomenon. Most of the liquid converts into a gaseous state at that particular temperature. So that temperature is called as a boiling point of a liquid. And here the solid, whenever it gets melts at one particular temperature, constant temperature, then that is called at its a melting point, right? So melting point and boiling point. Every solid has a melting point and every liquid has its own boiling point. So whenever we provide heat for boiling point or melting point, that time the whole liquid, till it does not get vaporized, converts into a heat. Till that time the temperature rise is not shown on the thermometer. Then where that all heat goes, right? So that heat is hidden in that liquid. It absorbs that heat to convert the liquid molecule into a gaseous molecule, and that heat is called as a latent heat. Here latent heat is nothing but a hidden heat, right? Because it is hid in that liquid, right? Based on that, the questions will be asked that what is mean by the latent heat, right? Or at a one same particular temperature, if you will consider water, and water converts into a steam at 100 degree centigrade, you know that the water converts into a steam. So which is more hot, either 100 degree centigrade water or the steam which is formed at the 100 degree centigrade. Now you will say that both are showing the same temperature. Then how can you say that which will have the high energy or which cause more burn? Both will be burn our skin, right? So which cause the more burn? So the substance in which the latent heat is there, that will burn more. We will discuss that later on. Till then, see here. Here you can see the ice start melted, but some of the ice cubes are there. Till it is not completely melted. That's why the temperature is shown only 0 degree centigrade. And same it is there for the boiling also. At a boiling point, the temperature will remain constant till the whole liquid gets vaporized. Now see more about the boiling here. When a liquid is heated, its particle begin to move even faster. Means by getting the heat, liquid molecules are there, they becomes energetic and move very faster. And very fast molecules we can observe in a gaseous state. That's why after heating, the liquid becomes a gas. Then at a particular temperature, the liquid begins to boil and change into a gas or a vapor. And that point is called as a boiling point. I already said boiling is a bulk phenomenon. Bulk phenomenon means more of the liquid boils at that temperature, and in bulk the liquid converts into a vapor. That's why it is called as a bulk phenomenon. See, the temperature at which the liquid starts boiling, right, is called its boiling point. and this boiling point is there, it will remain constant till the whole liquid does not get vaporized. So easily you can find the boiling point. There the temperature change you will not notice even though if you are providing heat. See here it is given the boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade, or it is given 373 Kelvin, right? SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, and 0 degree centigrade is equal to 273 Kelvin. So whenever you are saying about 100 degree centigrade means 273 Kelvin plus 100, this will gives you 373 Kelvin. The conversion of the temperature from degree Celsius to the Kelvin or from Kelvin to degree Celsius is again important, right? So this you have to learn. Just remember that 0 degree centigrade is equal to 273 Kelvin. So whenever you have to convert the degree Celsius into Kelvin, then add that degree Celsius into 273, you will get a Kelvin temperature. And whenever you have to convert the Kelvin into degree Celsius, then that Kelvin temperature you have to minus 273. From that Kelvin you have to minus the 273. So automatically you will get the degree centigrade temperature. This conversion is again very important. So you have to prepare it very well, right? 1 or 2 marks question it will be asked on this. See the next point, the latent heat of vaporization. Vaporization means conversion of liquid into a vapor, that is a vaporization. The amount of heat energy required to change. See how much amount is given? 1 kg. 1 kg of liquid into gas at atmospheric pressure. It will be a constant 1 atmospheric pressure, right? So that at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is called a latent heat of vaporization. Means whatever the amount of energy is required to convert the 1 kg of liquid into its vapors, right? So that whole energy required, all amount of energy is called as latent heat of vaporization. See the next one. Here you can see we are providing the heat to the liquid. Liquid starts boiling, and here the temperature will remain constant at 100 degree centigrade till the whole liquid does not get vaporized. So that temperature you can call it as an boiling point of this liquid. Every liquid has its different boiling point. Now see effect of a temperature on the molecular motion, right? As already we have learned that as we provide heat, maybe you provide heat to the solid's molecular space is very small and their movement is also very negligible. But as we provide heat to the solid, they will accept the heat, becomes energetic and move very fast. So their movement will be increased, right? So how that temperature will affect on the molecular movement? Means and in a cold temperature or at low temperature, they will be very close to each other and movement will be very less. And as you increase the temperature, they will move apart from each other and movement will be the faster. This is what the change you can see here in this picture. See the effect of a temperature on a molecular motion. Now you can see these both arrangement of the molecule is there of a solid only. This is not a liquid, right? This is solid, again this is also solid. But you can see that this is the molecular arrangement in a cold temperature, low temperature. Molecules are very close to each other. Intermolecular space is there, that is also very less, and vibration is also very less. But if you check the solid substance at a hot temperature, high temperature, then you can see the space between the molecule is there, that is increased, and even you can see these circles they shows the vibrations of these molecules. So vibration is also increased. Same it is here for the liquid. These are both the molecular arrangement of the liquid. In a cold temperature or at low temperature, the molecules are very close to each other with less vibration. But if we increase the temperature of the same liquid, then immediately the molecules will move apart from each other and start more vibrations, right? More freely they will move. So in this way, temperature affects on the solid liquid to change their state by providing the energy. Or by getting the energy, these molecules move far apart from each other and vibrate freely, and in this way they will show the arrangement of the molecules of the next state. Means solid molecules will show the arrangement of the liquid molecules, means definitely they will convert into the liquid, and the liquid molecule shows the arrangement of the gaseous molecules. So definitely here the liquid converts into a gases. See here the next point is sublimation. Now what is mean by sublimation, right? See here the change of state, right? There is again a change of a state. But how we have seen the change of state? Solid to liquid, liquid to gas. This is the sequence. Or gas to liquid, liquid to solid. But here it's a change of state directly from solid to gas. Remember this. It is change in the states from solid to gas. Here in between the liquid state is missing, not there, right? So whenever any solid directly converts into a gaseous form without converting in its liquid state, then that is called as sublimation. Right? Example is given here. Camphor. Camphor means kapoor, which we have right at our home. We generally use to burn for the gods. So if that kapoor you keep it open for 1 or 2 days, morning if you will keep that kapoor open, then in the evening if you will go to see, more than 50% of the kapoor has get vaporized. There you will not see any kind of liquid. This solid camphor is directly converts into a vapors. So this is what it is called as a sublimation. Another example is given, ammonium chloride. This is there in the lab, right? So if we will do the experiment on this ammonium chloride, if we will heat the ammonium chloride here and we will keep a funnel, inverted funnel on it, the end of this funnel is there, opening is there, this will be blocked by the cotton. So this will be completely packed, right? Now in this dish we have kept the ammonium chloride and we are providing heat with the help of a burner. So actually the rule is that ammonium chloride is solid. So whenever it will accept the heat, get heated, it should convert into its liquid. But here the ammonium chloride is not converted into a liquid, but we can see this full funnel is full with of gases of ammonium chloride, and as soon as these gases pass to this portion, tube-like portion of the funnel, here they will get little bit condensed, cool, and again these vapors convert back into the solid. So some of the particles we can see here settled at the sides of this funnel. So very good experiment which shows you both the sublimations as well as the condensation. Now we will go with your textbook, right? So this is the point, today's point, that can matter change its state. So in that the example is given of the 3 states as ice, solid as ice, liquid as water, and gases as a water vapor. So these 3 are interconvertible with each other. Here the activity is given. Take 150 gram of ice in a beaker and suspend a laboratory thermometer so that the bulb is in contact with the ice. So you will get a temperature of the ice. What is the temperature of the ice? I already shown you that it will show the 0 degree centigrade temperature, right? Then you have to provide heat to it. So this ice will convert into a liquid, that is water. So as we provide heat, this will convert, solid will convert into a liquid. So this experiment shows that conversion of ice to a water, and if again you provide heat to the water, then this water will also convert into a vapors. For that temperature will be constant at 100 degree centigrade. So this diagram will shows you the conversion of water to the water vapor. See here how these solids can convert into a liquid or liquids can convert into a gases. This is explanation is given when we provide heat or energy or temperature is increased. That time the kinetic energy of the particle is there, that will increase, and because of that the particle starts vibrating with a greater speeds, and as they will vibrate with a greater speed, they will overcome the force of attraction between the particles. We already have seen the every molecules has the force of attraction between them. Once this force of attraction is break, they will free from each other, right? So they will expand, and because of that the solid get melts and converts into a liquid. This is the definition. Highlight this definition. The temperature at which a solid melts and become a liquid at atmospheric pressure. This word is essential in the definition, right? Never forget this word. At atmospheric pressure, then that is called its melting point. See here, the melting point of ice is given 273.16 Kelvin is there. Now here 0.16 is there. Just before some time we have seen that whenever the temperature is interconvertible, that time we have considered the Kelvin as a 273, not 0.16 also, right? Because for less complications in the calculation, we are taking a round off figure of the temperature, that is 273, not a 273.16, but actual melting point of ice is 273.16 Kelvin. Remember this. Here one note is given, in that you have to remember how the Kelvin can be changed into a degree Celsius, and how the degree Celsius temperature can be changed into a Kelvin, right? So this is again very important. Don't skip this point. See what is mean by latent heat? The amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kg of solid into a liquid at atmospheric pressure. Again the word has come. Means we don't have to increase the pressure or the decrease the pressure. Whatever the atmospheric pressure is there, under that pressure only we have to do this experiment. Then that is called as its melting point, and the heat which is required to convert the 1 kg of solid into liquid, that heat is called as a latent heat of fusion. Because why fusion? Converting solid into a liquid or melting of solid is called as a fusion. So this conversion of solid into a liquid, whatever the heat is required, that is called as latent heat of fusion, right? See the next point. The temperature at which the liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure is known as boiling point, and for the water it is given the boiling point is 373 Kelvin or 100 degree centigrade. I already explained you, right? Now the latent heat of vaporization, same it is as like the latent heat of fusion. See here, the particles of steam, that is water vapor, at 373 Kelvin have more energy than the water at the same temperature, right? Why? Because I said that they have stored energy, hidden energy is there. That's why their At the same temperature, more energy we can found in the water than the steam, and this is because the particles of the steam have absorbed extra energy in the form of latent heat of vaporization. Interconversion of the states of the metals are given. Solid, whenever is heated, converts into a liquid. Liquid heated into a gases. Gas is cooled, becomes a liquid. Liquid, whenever it is cooled, becomes a solid. Some of the substances directly change from solid state to a gaseous state, or vice versa, means from gaseous states back to directly a solid state. Skipping a liquid state means they do not show the liquid state in them. So this is what it is called as a sublimation. This is what a picture it is given in your textbook, sublimation of ammonium chloride, right? Then next, change of state directly from solid to gas without changing into a liquid state is called as a sublimation. Or reverse, whenever the gas is directly changes into a solid without changing into a liquid, that is also called as a sublimation. Both it is called as a sublimation. Next point is effect of change of a pressure. Now how pressure, because in every definition, whatever the definitions we have seen of a boiling point, melting point, latent heat, right? In that I said atmospheric pressure word is important, right? Now if this pressure is changed, then what change takes place in that conversion is given in this point. Change of effect of change of a pressure means if we increase the pressure, what will happen, and if we decrease the pressure, what will happen. See here this picture, this is a cylinder, and in that this is a piston which used to apply pressure on that, right? So this is a gaseous states of the particles, right? When we apply pressure on that, then the particles of these substance will come very close to each other, and we can see here these particles as they come close to each other, this will shows you the arrangement of the molecules of the liquid. Means if you apply pressure on a gas can convert into a liquid, and again if you apply pressure on the gaseous molecules, these molecules again come closer to each other and showing the arrangement as like the solid molecules. Means easily you can say that whenever you apply pressure on the liquid can change into a solid. Means by applying pressure and reducing temperature, because whenever just now we have seen that whenever you convert the solid into a liquid, so for that conversion you have to provide heat. So they will absorb the heat and then convert into the next state, solid into a liquid or liquid into a gases. So whenever you are converting them, gas into a liquid or liquid into a gas, just increase the pressure as well as you have to take out the heat from that. Means you have to reduce the temperature. So by reducing temperature and by increasing pressure, you can change gaseous substance into its liquid form and the liquid substance to its solid form. This is what it is given here. Applying pressure and reducing temperature can liquefy gas. Means whatever the air we can see here in the atmosphere, that you can convert into its liquid form by applying pressure on it and reducing temperature. Example is given of the carbon dioxide, right? So carbon dioxide generally we see in the gaseous state, right? So whatever the carbon dioxide present in the air, always we see that in a gaseous form. But if you apply pressure on the carbon dioxide and reduce its temperature, this gaseous carbon dioxide, you will get a solid carbon dioxide, right? And this solid carbon dioxide is also known as the dry ice because it has a very low temperature. You know that nitrogen, it is present more in amount in the air, right? And that is also in a gaseous form. If you reduce the temperature under high pressure, then this nitrogen can convert into a liquid nitrogen. For that you reduce the temperature minus 196 degrees centigrade, right? At that much low temperature, if you will keep the nitrogen gas under high pressure, then there you will get a liquid nitrogen, not the nitrogen gas. So in this way, by applying pressure and reducing temperature, we can convert gases into their liquid state or even a solid state, as like a carbon dioxide. So whenever we will convert the carbon dioxide gas into its solid state, then that is called as a dry ice. And whenever you keep this dry ice open under a low pressure or the atmospheric pressure, immediately this dry ice get vaporized and convert into its gaseous state, right? So we can say that pressure and temperature determines the states of the substance, whether it would be solid, liquid or gas. The substance will be in which state? This will be determined by the pressure and the temperature. See here, this diagram, very important diagram. This diagram may asked for 2 or 3 marks. So here interconversion of the substances are given and even the name of the process is given. See, start with the solid. Whenever the solid converts into a liquid, this arrow you have to see, right? So whenever solid goes to liquid, converts into a liquid, that process is known as the fusion. Whenever the liquid converts into a gas, so this arrow, right? So this is called as the vaporization. Again go back. Whenever the gas converts into a liquid, so this backward arrow, so this is called as a condensation. Whenever the liquid converts back into the solid, so this arrow, right, downward arrow, so that is called as a solidification. Now see these two interconversion. Solid whenever directly converts into the gas, skipping liquid state, or gas directly converts into a solid skipping liquid state, then both of these processes is called as a sublimation. So you have to remember the name of the processes also and which states convert into which state. Based on this, some of the in-text questions are given that you have to solve. The last point is that vaporization. So this also we have seen what is mean by the vaporization. Whenever the liquid get convert into its vapor form, right, by getting energy, then that is called as a vaporization. Here one of the activity is given, right? See, all of you know that whenever we keep our clothes for drying, then clothes will be get dry. So these wet clothes dry up just because of this vaporization. The phenomenon of change of liquid into vapors at any temperature, here the fixed temperature is not there, below its boiling point is called as a vaporization. No need to reach the temperature at its boiling point. Take an example, if you have kept the water in a bowl, right, keep it the open as it is in summer season, right. So in the morning if you have kept the water in the bowl, maybe till evening the water is get vaporized. Just keeping open in the room means what? Is that your room temperature is reached to the 100 degree centigrade to vaporize that water? No. Here the water automatically converts into a vapor without reaching to its boiling point. This is called as a evaporation. Now how this evaporation takes place? Whenever the water is kept open, then superficial layer of that water is there. These molecules just get free from each other, right? And slowly they get removed. Means what? The liquid is get convert into a gas. So below its boiling point at any temperature, whenever the liquid is converted into its vapor, then that phenomenon is called as a vaporization. Now factors affecting on the vaporization. Here see which factors are given. First, increase of surface area. More the surface area is there, more the evaporation is there. Low surface area, open surface area is there, less molecules will be get free, right? So evaporation will be less. So as the surface area is increased, evaporation will be the faster. Next, increase of temperature. Temperature is increased, evaporation will be the faster. Temperature is decreased, vaporization will be slow, right? Next, decrease in humidity. Humidity is decreased, means what? Vaporization will be increase. Decrease in humidity means vaporization will also be decreased. Humidity is increased, vaporization will also be increased. Increase in wind speed. More wind speed is there, vaporization will increase. Low wind speed means molecules need to be blow away with the help of a wind. If the molecules get blow away with the help of wind, then the more molecules will come from the surface in the air. So more vaporization will be there. If the wind is not blowing, the molecules which get converted into a gas, they will be remain over there saturated. So more vaporization will not be there, right? So these are some of the factors which affects on the vaporization. Then last point, how does vaporization cause cooling? See, in an open vessel, when liquid is kept on evaporation, the particles of the liquid absorbs energy from the surrounding. Very important, right? Whatever the liquid molecules are there, to get converted into a gas, they need energy, and that energy they are absorbing from the surrounding region. Automatically from that surrounding region, the energy level is decreased, and that makes the surroundings cool or low temperature. So this will develop a cooling effect. See, if you pour some acetone or nail polish remover on your palm, then this question will be asked in exam for giving reason, right? So listen it carefully. Whenever these particles get energy from, as we have poured it on the palm, right? To get vaporized, they will take the energy, absorb the energy from our palm, and automatically if the energy is absorbed by that molecules, our palm will become cool. We feel cool, right? Then after hot sunny days, people sprinkle water on the roof or open ground. Because of that, whatever the latent heat of vaporization of water is there, that will help to become a cool that surface area, hot surface area, right? Then why should we wear cotton clothes in a summer? Very important question. Again this question will be asked in a exam. So what is given? See, because the mechanism, we perspire more, right? More sweating will be there in the summer season, and because of this mechanism of our body, this is done to keep our body cool in summer, as we perspire more, right? To keep our body cool, and that need to be vaporized, right? That, so these particles get energy from the body surface, right, to change into a vapor, and as this sweat get vaporized by absorbing, gaining energy from the body, our body's heat energy will be decreased and we will feel cool. Body becomes cool, right? And to absorb that sweat, we need to use the cotton clothes. Cotton clothes are good absorbent, right? They will absorb more and more. Synthetic clothes are not good absorbent of the sweat, right? they will be just keep as it is sweat on our body, so that may cause harm to our skin. So whatever sweat is secreted by the body need to be absorbed by the clothes. That's why we need to use the cotton cloth. This paragraph is very important. Prepare this very well, right? Why do we see water droplets on outer surface of the glass containing ice cold? This must be you have observed during the summer season, because in summer season just take out some of the ice cubes, keep in the glass and keep the glass on the table. What will happen? Because of the ice cubes your glass will also become very cool, right? The temperature of that glass is become low. But in the air, surrounding the air, water vapors will be there, right? So these water vapors which will be there around the glass, they will also feel that cold temperature. Because of that cold temperature, these vapors will lose their energy and converts into a liquid. Now these liquid molecules or vapors are there, they need some kind of surface to settle down. So they will just get settled down on the outer surface of the glass. So after some time, if you will observe, outer side of the glass is there, that is full of water droplets because of the cooling. See here, we can see that the water vapors which are present in the air or in coming in contact with the cold glass of water, they lose the energy and get converted into liquid state, and this liquid state gets settles on the outer surface of the glass in the form of water droplets. Below that, these are some of the in-text questions, so that you have to solve, right? And earlier part I said that you have to just find out little bit more about the fourth and fifth states of the matter. So it is given in extra knowledge. Read out it, and any doubt is there, then you can ask. Here our chapter is end. So go through these all the parts of the video, go through the full textbook chapter, right? Whatever the highlighted points are there, read once again, complete your notes, and whatever the in-text questions are there, that also you complete. And once this over, right, any doubt is there, ask. If you don't have any doubt, then complete your exercise questions, right? Prepare all these points very nicely. Whatever the important points I said time to time with the marks, that you have to prepare from the point of view of exam. Once all this your work is over, then send me the pics. And even I found that the videos are not seen all of you, right? So see the videos. If you have doubt, comment that in the comment box on the YouTube, and subscribe the channel. Very important thing, you have to subscribe the channel. Once you subscribe, then immediately you will get the video. As soon as I upload, you will get the video link, right? So no need to find out where it is posted in the WhatsApp or somewhere, right? So immediately you will get the website link as well as video link to you immediately. So subscribe the channel, right? And whatever views are there that you give me, I surely say that all of you are not watching the videos. Watch it properly and try to understand, because this is not going to be repeat once again. Clear? So do it well, and all the best.